Amendments tonight to this bill that's coming out of parliamentary committee scrutiny now. It's a free vote, but some Liberals are signaling they may vote against it. One of them is Toronto MP Nate Erskine-Smith. He wrote his thesis on the Charter of Rights and Assisted Dying. He joins me in the studio. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you're not going to vote in the current form and support in the current form. What needs to change?
Well, I spoke at second reading in support of the legislation to get it to committee, hoping that they would address the reasonably foreseeability criterion.
Right.
So basically, the Supreme Court has said those who are suffering grievously or irremediably have access to assisted dying. The government has added an additional criterion, reasonable foreseeability of death, and we have to justify why that criterion is necessary because it does remove the right from a certain category of individuals.
So does that make the bill unconstitutional?
In my view, it does. I know it's an argument on both sides for a number of people, but the Canadian Bar Association has expressed their concerns. The lead lawyer in Carter has certainly expressed his concerns. There are other constitutional experts have done so as well, and I think there's an argument that it could be saved by way of constitutional dialogue. So there is a principle of constitutional dialogue. The court might say this doesn't completely meet what we were asking you to do, but you, in good faith, attempted to meet our concerns, and so we're going to accord you some deference. But as I said in the House, I said we have to address the constitutionality, but we're not just tasked with that. The court's tasked us with that, but Canadians task us to go beyond that and to draft the best possible law, and I don't think we've done that.
Yeah, but you're not just any MP. You've got experience on this. You wrote a thesis on it.
Yes, I did. I did.
Why don't they listen to you in caucus and say, all right, maybe we have to bend a bit on this? If you're saying it's unconstitutional, it probably is.
I'm one voice. There are others who've taken different views. I think the important thing to emphasize is respectful and reasonable disagreement, and that has occurred in our caucus and in the House of Commons. And I'm hopeful, certainly, that if it does pass to the Senate, that the Senate will bring to bear a degree of independence and raise these concerns as well.
I'm curious, Nate. I mean, you're sitting here. You're a Liberal MP, a rookie, but you're still an MP, and you're saying your own government's signature legislation, at least so far, is unconstitutional. Are you going to suffer any smackdown because of that?
No, quite the opposite. So we've been encouraged to raise concerns of our constituents. Certainly my constituents have voiced almost unanimous opposition to this bill because it doesn't go far enough. We had a town hall in early April. I've consulted regularly with constituents one-on-one as well. And I got here to vote in favor of what I believe to be the best legislation, and certainly constitutional legislation. And I have concerns, and as a legislator that wants to take a principled view to this, I don't think I can in good conscience support the legislation.
So if this goes through without amendments, is it just going to keep frothing around in the Supreme Court under charter challenge here or there? It'll be 10 years from now, we'll still be debating it, do you think?
I hope not. So if this passes the House, I do have faith that the Senate will come back to us with amendments, and we'll be seized with realistically debating and addressing those amendments back in the House. If it passes without amendments, then we are going to see, unfortunately, charter challenges down the road. As to when we see them, I'm not sure, because if you look back, Sue Rodriguez brought the challenge in 1993, and then we didn't see Carter become successful until 2015. So it may be a long time.
And what happens on June 6th if this bill's stuck in the Senate and stuck there till fall and beyond? What happens in your view?
So a number of people have expressed views on the subject, and some suggest there won't be sufficient access, some suggest there will be too much access. I actually think the provinces will bring to bear a regulatory framework. They already have proposed a regulatory framework by way of the health professional bodies. I think that will be perfectly fine in the interim, and I think we should take the time to get this right.
Yeah, so as far as you're concerned, there's not a real big rush. As long as they do it by maybe by the time the summer recess comes along, that would probably be enough time to look at this properly, you think?
I think we have more time than June 6th, certainly. The Carter framework has worked to date. Individuals applying. It's a cumbersome process for applicants still. There should be a better process in place, but as an interim process, I think it is acceptable for us to take the time to get the legislation right.
It will do patchwork, though, eh? It'll vary by province if it's...
That's absolutely why a federal response makes sense. I mean, we had Peter Hogg at the committee originally testify to say it's important for the federal government to get legislation in place. Now, provinces fundamentally have the jurisdiction here under the Constitution to regulate this, but where provinces don't regulate, it's important for the feds to have a framework in place so that individuals can have access, and I think Mr. Hogg's correct.
All right, well, see, this is not over yet. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right. The $9 billion